17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known. I was sick and tired, living in a town filled with narrow minds and hate.
Hello, hello, hello. And thank you so much for tuning in to A Spoonful of Comfort. I am Claudrine Jackson. I am your host for A Spoonful of Comfort. I am reminding you and me that in these troubled times, we can offer comfort. You know, so much is going on in society now, as you well know if you've seen any news stories. And there's so much discomfort going on that those of us who can give comfort, let us give comfort. Let us not give discomfort. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the privilege of your time. May you have sunshine to greet you, adventures to meet you, joy in whatever you do. May you have God's presence to guide you and good friends beside you and happiness all the year through. Now, I know that all the good things can't always happen for us, but it is my wish for you that good things happen. And I want to thank the people who donate to the Purvis Jackson Autism Foundation, because the Purvis Jackson Foundation helps lower income children with handicaps. Now, all children with handicaps need help. But wealthy parents of children with handicap can afford to do the things that their children need. They can send them to camp. They can pay for treatments. They can pay for medications. They can pay for therapies. They can pay for people to help them with their child. But lower income parents don't have those advantages. And I want you to know I've been both. I have been both. During my son's 44 years, I went through my times of not having any finances or any help. So I know what these parents go through. So those of you who donate to the Purvis Jackson Foundation, thank you so much. You can reach the Purvis Foundation on the internet at pjjraf.org. You can also reach it on Facebook. Now, the Purvis Jackson Foundation, on the website, you can contact the foundation if you need help. I haven't been talking about that much because there have been more people needing help than donations coming in. But if you need help from the Purvis Foundation, you can get us on the website. Now, some parents that don't have computers, the teachers, their children's teachers, because if their child has a handicap, they're in special education. And the special education teachers have helped them get their reports in. Now, we're in a new month. This is March, but February was Heart Health Month. That is something important enough to talk about all year, not just in February. So I want to remind you about your heart health. Do things that are healthy for your heart. Be careful about your nutrition. I have to start eating more fruits and vegetables. The things that I say to you, they apply to me too. I have to start eating more fruits and vegetables. I'm trying. I'm doing better, but I'm still not there yet. Drink more water. Water washes out if you have too much sodium and too many impurities in your body. The water washes that out of your body. So eating healthy foods, drinking water, staying active, get some kind of exercise. My exercise of choice is yoga, and it has been good for me because it has kept me more flexible. But there are some people that don't like yoga. So whatever exercise that you like, and watch your weight. And the things that you do that are good for your heart are also good for your brain. So if you're keeping your heart healthy, you're also keeping your brain healthy. You know, they say that Alzheimer's starts in the brain 20 years before it manifests itself in your behavior. So remember that taking care of your heart, you're also taking care of your brain. Now, I will admit, I did not get health conscious until I reached the ripe old age of 50, 30 years ago. but it's never too late to start improving your health. March is reading month, and I have a suggestion for a book for you to read. Happens to have been written by me. It's called The Butterfly. Now, The Butterfly is a poem in this book, and I named the book, it's a book of poems. I named the book after the poem, The Butterfly. And you've heard me talk about my son who's handicapped, who has autism, and he can't read or write or talk or live independently, but it's his artwork that covers the butterfly. We had the butterfly form, but we used his artwork. So this is something that he did. And I like to show that even those of us with many deficits, that we all have something to offer. So remember that. If he could offer something, so can you. One of the other things I've been talking about for Black History, I was talking about the history of Motown Records. My husband sang with the Spinners, so Motown was a great, great part of my history. Berry Gordy found Motown in 1959. He started the Motown Review in 62, and the Motown Reviews took his artists all over the country to expose people to the music, to help people buy the records. But back in the 60s, when they were traveling around the country, there were problems with segregation. So in the South, they weren't always welcome. They weren't, the black people and the white people couldn't sit together. But one of the things that the Motown Review is credited with is helping end segregation, because there were times when they had to sit together. So Motown grew from a little building that's still located on the boulevard to a big worldwide, it's a worldwide inspiration, a learning experience. So many people all over the world have used Motown as their learning experience. So one of the things that I wanted to mention, I've talked about Motown, but I've been remiss talking about Motown because I could never give a comprehensive history of Motown. But I've been talking about Motown, I've been talking about the writers, I've been talking about some of the performers, and they've all been men. I haven't talked about any of the lady performers, so I've been remiss with that. So let me talk about some of the ladies. I left out talking about the ladies. There was a group called the Marvelettes. The Marvelettes had a song called Please Mr. Postman. That was one of Motown's first hits. They also had a song called Beechwood 45789. You can call me up and have a date any old time. Now, that was the phone number. That's how we did phone numbers back in those days before we had so many phones. But Beechwood 45789 was a big hit by the Marvelettes. Martha and the Vandellas had quite a few hits. Dancing in the Street, which you hear all over the world. Most of the Motown music you hear all over the world. Martha and the Vandellas had Heat Wave, Jimmy Mack, Come and Get These Memories. So I didn't want to leave out the women from Motown. Also the Supremes. You know how many hits the Supremes had. You Can't Hurry Love and Come See About Me. I think Come See About Me was one of the Supremes' first big hits. But everyone knows about Motown. The Velvelettes. There was another group at Motown called the Velvelettes. I can't right offhand think of the hit that the Velvelettes had, but there's somebody that knows, and you'll let me know. The ladies, there was Mary Wells, whose hit song was My Guy. Nothing you could do to make me untrue to my guy. Nothing you can try could make me tell a lie to my guy. I'm sticking to my guy like a stamp to a letter. Like birds of a feather, we stick together. I'm telling you from the start, we can't be torn apart from my guy. That was Mary Wells' hit. Also, there was Tammy Terrell. Tammy Terrell was a Motown artist, and she sang with Marvin Gaye, and their big hit was "Ain't No Mountain High Enough." Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you. If you need me, call me. I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough. And I've given you some of the lyrics because maybe I'm stuck in a time warp where I love the lyrics from back then more than the lyrics from now, but the lyrics were meaningful. Those lyrics were meaningful. Back in those days, if you had something in your heart that you wanted to say, there was always a song lyric that said it for you. I gave you some of the words to What Becomes of the Brokenhearted, which was by Jimmy Ruffin. It was Jimmy Ruffin sang it. Paul Reiser wrote it. Jimmy Ruffin was David Ruffin's brother. And What Becomes of the Brokenhearted became a big hit. It was a sad song. What becomes of the brokenhearted who have love that's now departed? I know I've got to find some kind of peace of mind. Help me, please. I'm searching, though I don't succeed. For someone's love, there's a growing need. All hope is lost. There's no hope for beginning. All that's left is an unhappy ending. I walk through shadows, searching for light. Cold and alone, no comfort in sight. Hoping and praying for someone to care. Always moving, but going nowhere. What becomes of the brokenhearted? I've been searching every day. I know I've got to find a way. I've been looking everywhere just to find someone to care. That is a sad song, but it was a million seller because there were so many people feeling that way, including me. I went through my brokenhearted phase and loved that song, but I'm trying to share the lyrics from some of the songs that Motown had. And I say when I was teaching, I would play Motown lyrics for my students. We had music appreciation. My students would come in and they were singing some of these rap songs. And if you listen to any of the rap songs, a lot of the words in there are very inappropriate. So I would tell my students that you can't sing that, but Miss Jackson, it's a hit. It's a hit. It's not a hit in here. So I started playing Motown songs for them so that they could hear real lyrics. So I'm going to take a short break, and when I come back from my break, I'll be sharing some more words with you that I think are worth repeating.
When I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known. I was sick and tired, living in a town filled with narrow minds and hate. They used to laugh at me, their children called me names. I would run and hide, feeling so ashamed just for being born. I was just a boy, punished for a crime that was not mine.
Thank you so much for sticking with me for a spoonful of comfort. Thank you so much for not being anyone's discomfort. You know who the discomfort people are, because when you see them coming, you say, oh, here they come. So don't be one of those people. Don't be one of the discomfort people. So since I'm sharing lyrics with you from Motown, but I want to share a few lyrics with you from before Motown. These are some of the artists that inspired the Motown artists. They say that back in the 60s, under every street light, there was a group standing there performing. You know, that was their spotlight. The Spinners were under one street light and the Miracles were under another. This is before Motown, but they were singing and harmonizing and really expressing themselves. And I'm so thankful for that because, you know, music is the great equalizer. But I want to share with you some of the words that inspired Motown. Um, Harvey and the Moon Glows. Harvey Fuqua of the Moon Glows owned the record company that the Spinners first started with. It was called Tri-Fi. Harvey Fuqua was married to Berry Gordy's sister, Gwen Gordy. So Harvey sold his record company, which is Tri-Fi. He sold it to Motown. He went to Motown, and he became one of their artist development people. Now, Berry had something at Motown that other record companies would do well to have. He had artist development, and artist development taught the artists how to act off stage as well as on. So, wouldn't it be nice now if some of the other artists knew how to act off stage as well as on? I had mentioned earlier that I couldn't remember what the Velvet's hits were, and I said someone would let me know, and one of our wonderful engineers here came and let me know the Velvet's, their hit song was Needle in a Haystack. What did I say? It's a needle in a haystack. And he was really saying something. So I didn't want to leave out the girl groups talking about Motown. So some of the other lyrics that I wanted to share with you pre-Motown was, are the stars out tonight? I don't know if it's cloudy or bright. There was a group called the Flamingos. Are the stars out tonight? I don't know if it's cloudy or bright. I can't see a thing in the sky, although millions of people go by, but they all disappear from view because I only have eyes for you. Now, what woman doesn't want to hear those kinds of words? So I'm talking about lyrics that really uplifted you. And some of the lyrics you hear nowadays are not uplifting. There was a group called the Coasters. The Coasters had a hit record called, they had many hits, but one of their hits was Poison Ivy. She comes on like a rose, but everybody knows she'll get you in Dutch. You can look, but you better not touch. Poison Ivy. Late at night while you're sleeping, Poison Ivy comes a-creeping around. You know, I don't try to sing these things because I want you to hear the words, and I can't sing. And part of Poison Ivy was the measles make you lumpy, the mumps will make you mumpy, chicken pox will make you jump and twitch, the common cold will cool you, whooping cough will fool you, but Poison Ivy, Lord, will make you itch. You're gonna need an ocean of calamine lotion. You'll be scratching like a hound the minute you start to mess around. Poison Ivy. Now that was kind of one of the novelty songs. The Spinners had a novelty song while they were with Motown, and it was called, I Got Your Water Boiling Baby, and I'm Gonna Cook Your Goose. I got your water boiling baby, and I'm going to cook your goose. So that was one of their novelty songs that became popular. So I want to share Smokey's lyrics with you again, and the reason I'm sharing them with you again is because they do bear repeating. And Smokey was a master of taking words and stringing them together in such a way that it helped uplift you. Tracks of My Tears was one of Smokey's hits. And you know, Smokey Robinson sang with the Miracles, but he was also a big writer at Motown. Tracks of My Tears says, people say I'm the life of the party because I have a joke or two. Although I might be laughing loud and hearty, deep inside I'm blue. So take a good look at my face. You'll see my smile looks out of place. If you look closer, it's easy to trace the tracks of my tears. Now, isn't that beautiful? And how many of us have felt that? Motown music was universal. They captured feelings that we've all had. Shop Around, one of Smokey's hits that I want to repeat because it's an example of excellent writing. You know, I consider myself a writer, but there's some writing that just can't be duplicated, like Smokey and Shop Around. The words are, when I became of age, my mother called me to her side. She said, son, you're growing up now. Pretty soon you'll take a bride. And then she said, there are some things I want you to know just because you've become a young man now. There are some things that you don't understand now. Before you ask some girl for her hand now, keep your freedom for as long as you can now. My mama told me, you better shop around. There are some things that I want you to know, son. Just as sure as the wind's going to blow, son, women come and the women going to go, son. Before you tell them that you love them so, son, my mama told me, you better shop around. Try to get yourself a bargain, son. Don't be sold by the very first one. A pretty girl will come a dime a dozen, so try to find one who's going to give you true loving. Before you take a girl and say, I do now, make sure she's in love with you now. Make sure that her love is true now. My mama told me, you better shop around. That bears repeating because it's an example of excellent writing. And a lot of the musicians nowadays, I don't want to talk about today's music as I talk about today's music, but a lot of their lyrics are the same things repeated over and over. Nothing uplifting or inspiring in the lyrics. But back in the 50s, lyrics helped help lift your spirits. So I want to share one of my favorite writers with you. I've shared it before, but like I said, some things bear repeating. And this is Paul Laurence Dunbar, who was the first writer whose poems I learned when I was a little girl. And Paul Laurence Dunbar was a slave. And how he managed to get a book published, I'll never know, as hard as it is to get a book published. And there he was, a slave, and got a book published. But one of Paul Laurence Dunbar's poems I learned when I was a little girl, and I'll say it in dialect because that's how he wrote in dialect. Remember, he was uneducated. It's called The Party. They had a great big party down at Tom's the other night. Was I there? You bet. I never in my life seen such a sight. All the folks from 4 plantations was invited, and they come. They come trooping, thick as chillin' when they hears the fife and drum. Everybody dressed their finest, hush your mouth and get away. I ain't seen no such fancy dressing since last coffee meeting day. Gals all dressed in silks and satin, not a wrinkle or a crease. Eyes a battin', teeth a shining, hair brushed back as slick as grease. Skirts all tucked and puffed and rustled. Every blessed seam and stitch. If you'd seen them with their masters, you wouldn't have known which was which. So it's a very long poem. I'm not going to recite the whole poem for you, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how Paul Laurence Dunbar wrote. Another poem by Paul Laurence Dunbar was called A Negro Love Song. Seen my lady home last night. Jump back, honey, jump back. Held her hand and squeezed it tight. Jump back, honey, jump back. Heard her sigh, a little sigh. Seen a light gleam from her eye and a smile go flitting by. Jump back, honey, jump back. Heard the wind blow through the pines. Jump back, honey, jump back. Mockingbird was singing fine. Jump back, honey, jump back. And my heart was beating so when I reached my lady's door that I couldn't bear to go. Jump back, honey, jump back. Put my arms around her waist. Jump back, honey, jump back. Raised her lips and took a taste. Jump back, honey, jump back. Love me, honey, love me true? And she answered, course I do. Jump back, honey, jump back. Now that song is just as relevant to me now as it was when he wrote it many years ago. And of course, if I'm sharing wonderful lyrics from our Black history, I have to do Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. who is also an inspiration for me. Still I rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moon and the sun and the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Now don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds sparkling in my eyes? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide, I rise. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gift that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. That should be the theme song for our Black History people. We have to continue to rise to overcome the challenges that are put before us. And our ancestors, they had it much harder than we did. And so we can't let their accomplishments be forgotten. So thank you so much for tuning in to A Spoonful of Comfort. I'll be looking forward to being with you next Tuesday at 1:30 right here on WHPR TV.
When I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known. I was sick and tired, living in a town filled with narrow minds and hate. They used to laugh at me, their children called me names. I would run and hide, feeling so ashamed just for being born. I was just a boy